Arise, fellow men and women. This is the voice of unity in diversity. A wake-up call to living a digital life and creating a sustainable future with digital technology. It goes beyond the color of our skin. It's more about our dreams and how we make them happen. Arise, fellow countrymen and women, young and old. The future is digital. Tomorrow is here. This is a story of a people with the vigor and passion for a technologically driven Nigeria as they go in search of answers. Through thick and thin, they fought, toiled day and night. In the end, they planted a future, the future where we can look back and smile. That future seed sowed 20 years ago and nurtured over time is today the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA. Professor Turner Isong was Honorable Minister of Science and Technology at the birth of NITDA, which started its operations in his office as a unit referred to as the National Information Technology Development Unit NITDU, headed by late Professor Olalere Gabriel Ajayi as the first Director General.
The basic idea was to bring science, technology and innovation to some of the important areas. For instance, the area of information communications technology, probably by the time we came to the picture in 2000 and 2001, was basically post office. Okay, but I was convinced that if we are going to drive the system, we have to bring in technology.
NITDU, as it was then called, and now NITDA, was an outcome of a policy document drafted by industry thought leaders and stakeholders. The aim was to have for Nigeria an IT agency with the role of galvanizing and harmonizing information technology for growth and development.
The brain behind the establishment of NITDA was clearly for us to address the issue of ICT, which is the future.
I had the singular honor of being part of that writing of the IT policy. And it took quite a while because there were so many segments that were being looked into so that we can have an ICT policy that would stand the test of time. And one can see that after 20 years of NITDA existing, that quite a lot has been achieved.
At that time, especially in government, you had the Honorable Minister, now His Royal Majesty, Ibitimi Banigo, and of course we work with Mrs. Pauline Palin, who was the Minister of State for Science and Technology. So, having a good listener in government is a sociological tonic that this country must be able to emulate, because it could have derailed what we were trying to do at that time. So after the Y2K, we went back to Lagos, and all these experiences put together with my template of paper,
they eventually came up with a policy that we felt was good. It was so good that 75% of what got enacted as the policy was from what they did.
Policy set direction for any organization and of course for a government. And I could recall the theme, and the sub-theme was more about government need to have an IT policy, Nigeria need to come up with an IT policy, and then the information age has come, and Nigeria has to reinvent itself, use IT to reclaim its dominant position. And today, we've achieved it.
These men and women began a revolution with the support of the then President Olusegun Obasanjo. That revolution, although started as a unit in the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, has seen these Directors Generals preside over the affairs of the agency. First was Professor Olalere Gabriel Ajayi, then Professor Cleopas Officer Angaye, Mr. Peter Jack, Dr. Isa Ali Pantami, and now Malam Kashifu Inua Abdullahi.
NITDA started before it got a law. So at the initial stage, it was uncertain as to what direction to go, particularly because it didn't have a clear definition of its mandate. Okay, so it did many things, but it was lucky to have had the initial DG who was like a bulldozer, who cleared the way. So how you would evaluate NITDA 20 years ago is how was IT reported at that time and how popular is IT today. If you open any newspaper, any online medium, any TV house, you will see multiple news channels and discourses on IT. That tells you that an awareness created by NITDA initially has so deepened that the whole country is agog with that information.
When NITDA was established, the use of ICT in Nigeria was about only 0.16% of the Nigerian population used ICT then, and also ICT contributed around the same figure, 0.16% to the Nigerian GDP. But today, the use of ICT, more than 100 million Nigerians are using internet, are using form of ICT, mobile phone, and so on.
The mandate of the agency is very huge, from capacity building, from regulation, from policy and guideline setting, to intervention. They are so massive. Right now, in the area of capacity building, NITDA is training like 4 postgraduates in ICT and computer engineering, 4 from every state and a PhD from each state.
From the submission of the industry experts and stakeholders, NITDA has not failed to impress in the implementation of its mandate, vision, and mission. To avoid any doubt, NITDA draws its mandate and responsibilities from its Act of 2007 to create a framework for the planning, research, development, standardization, application, coordination, monitoring, evaluation, and regulation of information technology practices, activities, and systems in Nigeria.
I commend the pioneer DG and the present DG and all those that have gone through to see to the growth of NITDA. And I believe that the rate we are going and the commitment of my brother, the Pantami, the present Minister of Communication, I believe that our future will be brighter because the driver that drives any country and drives the future is information technology, and ICT is key.
I'm very sure that if you have not established NITDA, the rate of development that we have today in the area of IT, maybe we wouldn't have gotten to that level.
Over the past 20 years, almost 1,000 IT centers have been put in place. I think almost 500 scholarships at different levels, but primarily at the higher level of PhD. And I believe almost 250 people with disabilities, people who generally would be either unserved or underserved, have been empowered, especially with capacity building programs. So to that extent, I think NITDA really has done a lot.
In an effort towards ensuring that the IT policy implementation succeeds with maximum effectiveness, NITDA regulates, monitors, evaluates and verifies progress on an ongoing basis under the supervision and coordination of the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy. The transition and growth reflects the new zeal, focus, and drive in the agency brought by the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy as the then Director General of NITDA.
We are not regulating to stifle innovation. Rather, we regulate to unlock opportunities. We regulate to create market.
Now, coming to regulation, that's one of the latest components of NITDA function. Even though it's actually primary, it's developed now so well that the industry is beginning to take note.
I'm happy that NITDA was established. I'm happy that NITDA grew. I'm happy that even the Nigerian ICT industry, I'm telling you because I'm fully in the know of how we grew. NITDA played very, very crucial and pivotal role.
Created in April 2001 to implement the Nigerian Information Technology Policy and coordinate general IT development in the country, NITDA is the prime agency for e-government implementation, internet governance, and general IT development in Nigeria. NITDA has fast become a prime agency for IT development in Nigeria with focus on cybersecurity, digital skills development, IT infrastructural development, indigenous content promotion, big data, artificial intelligence, e-agriculture, e-governance and regulations, and many more.
I was proactive to come up with so many regulatory instruments that were key to the success of NITDA, like Nigeria Data Protection Regulation, cloud computing policy, cybersecurity guidelines, for example, e-government interoperability framework, e-government enterprise architecture, ICT project clearance guidelines, and many more.
The Nigerian software market capitalization has grown by almost more than 100%.
Over the years, NITDA has done a lot of intervention in the areas of capacity building, in infrastructure, digital inclusion, government digital services, and much more.
Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, is closely watched as the next big growth market for technology and human capital. This description has persisted due largely to high youthful population and growing educational capacity. Here are some of the reasons for such consistent optimism. Nigeria as a country is home to some of the most youthful population on the continent. It promises to be a major consumption and production market over the next decade, and it is increasingly fueled by digital technologies. An emerging digital ecosystem is particularly crucial as multiplier of that growth's access to smart digital technologies and other devices that enhance consumer information, networking, job creation resources, and even financial inclusion. NITDA, as Nigeria's prime IT regulatory agency, has positioned itself and the nation to ensure Nigeria within the next decade becomes the tech hub for Africa and the world.
The report of National Bureau of Statistics speaks for themselves. You can clearly see from the report that this is the sector that pulled out the country out of recession. The sector's growth rate at the last quarter of 2020 was 14.70%, followed by another sector, 3-point-something%. Our sector grew by more than 4 times the second most performing sector. Thirdly, if you look at the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and even seventh sectors following ICT, you will discover all the 6 sectors combined together, their growth rate was only 14.21%. All of them combined together, their growth rate is not up to that of ICT. And this is only ICT sector alone, without accommodating digital services. Both of them combined together will give you digital economy.
Before the COVID, people were digitizing, people were migrating to digital platform. When COVID hit, it accelerated that pace, the pace people are migrating, transitioning to this digital space. That also increased the local consumption of especially software.
NITDA has gone to almost every state, helping to develop their ICT policy, right? Creating awareness using the National Council on Digital Economy, for instance, where all the commissioners attend and they're getting a hint of, through the peer review system of that council meetings that happens once a year, all the commissioners are getting a sense of how to invest in ICT. So Nigeria is actually in a few years up in the air trying to invest resources in development of IT.
The obvious accelerated growth of information technology driven by NITDA in Nigeria presents a unique opportunity for economic development and human capacity. This effort by the National Information Technology Development Agency NITDA is improving the flow of information and providing a platform for other services such as the potential to correct market failures and remove constraints to development. These improvements are attributable to NITDA's leadership and foresight to drive a digital Nigeria with new digital technologies without leaving out any cadre of the Nigerian society. To this end, NITDA trains, empowers, organizes workshops for the less privileged Nigerians, providing educational scholarship to many, encourages digitization of public agencies, the introduction of data protection regulation, training for women and girls, and building ICT infrastructure for digital access across Nigeria, with some located in many institutions of higher learning in Nigeria.
At NITDA, we do a lot in building the capacity of our citizens, from the professionals, the CEOs, the civil servants, and every Nigerian. We do capacity building for our for people with special needs, people with disability. We have for special one for women, we have for children, and almost every Nigerian benefit from one form or the others of our training.
The National Information Technology Development Agency NITDA is not resting on its oars. The agency, together with the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, is mobilizing and galvanizing young and upwardly mobile Nigerians to forge paths towards sustainability for themselves and their families. All these are aimed towards building a digitally sustainable country using technology as the catalyst.
The success of indigenous digital economy lies on two prerequisites. Number one is digital innovation, and number two is digital entrepreneurship. I developed a policy on national digital innovation and entrepreneurship. As part of the implementation of that policy is what brought about the National Digital Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center here in Abuja.
In the area of human capital development, NITDA has trained thousands of Nigerians. We have trained quite a number of youths. Because even just last year alone, we have trained over 3,000 youths in area of ICT. We have up to the period of 2018 and 2020, we have trained over 600 women. We have empowered them, and they are already employers of labor. And we also gave training to people living with disabilities.
NITDA, under the supervision of the ministry, succeeded in implementing policies, strategies, and projects such as the Nigeria Data Protection and Regulation (NDPR), National Adopted Village for Smart Agriculture, ICT Innovation Hubs, Digital Community Centers. The agency has successfully created over 272 user accounts to enable ministries, departments, and agencies (NDAs) submit their IT projects clearance portal. Cleared over 154 unique IT projects of 73 ministries, departments, and agencies, worth well over 1 trillion naira. On digital economy, the agency has these to be proud of in a short time. Across the geopolitical zones are spread digital centers in their numbers, with Southwest Zone 13, South-South Zone 6, Southeast Zone 6, Northwest Zone 17, Northeast Zone 16, and North Central Zone 23. Here are others on this table.
We built IT innovation and incubation parks in all the 6 geopolitical zones in the country. And we also established National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics.
Furthermore, NITDA has saved the federal government of Nigeria over a total of 5 billion naira. That's not all. NITDA has in addition licensed 71 Data Protection Compliance Organization (DPCO), inaugurated the Data Breach Investigation Team, and partnership with the Nigerian Police Force for enforcement. The value of the data protection sector in Nigeria is now put at over 2 million, with 230 compliance and enforcement notices, 8 data breaches, fine of 1 organization, not forgetting NDPR implementation framework, and much more, all geared towards the promotion of a digital Nigeria. The growth of information technology is changing the way economic and social development occurs in most countries, enabling the inclusion of lower-skilled workers from an evolving labor force, which can contribute to lowering the gender gap. Information technology is also creating value and uplifting many out of poverty. The National Information Technology Development Agency and the Federal Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy, 20 years on, is ensuring Nigerians and Nigeria's digital space grows in value, leading to sustained economic development.
We are working with different organization agencies to see how we can create fund for our startups. How can we fund idea development? How can we fund developing a prototype and pilot for our startups?
IT is giving a world a facelift. NITDA has brought us change. To make our dreams a reality, we must brace up. To show the world our reality, we must stand up. To work together, we must get up. To rule the digital ecosystem, ICT and innovation must be adopted in its full form. Join Nigeria through NITDA and the Federal Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy to grow the digital knowledge and economy for prosperity for all.
I congratulate NITDA and I wish them success.
I want to use the opportunity to convey my congratulations and to wish the National Information Technology Development Agency family happy 20th anniversary.
I want to specially congratulate the Honorable Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, my dear brother Pantami, and in particular, the DG NITDA.
I would like to really congratulate NITDA.
Particularly, I'd like to congratulate the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami. He's a man of great vision. He's done so much in such a short period.
Wishing NITDA a very happy 20th anniversary.
Let me congratulate NITDA at 20.
I have to congratulate our sister agency, that is the NITDA.
It is my pleasure to wish NITDA hearty congratulations on their 20th anniversary.
We use this opportunity to congratulate NITDA.
Today, I'm happy to say congratulations to the agency at 20.
I congratulate NITDA and I wish everyone associated with NITDA well.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to all of us in NITDA.